Welcome to If Numbers Can Talk. This is episode 61, MVPs and the finals, or MVPs season and finals. Welcome to If Numbers Could Talk. My name is Keelan. I'll be your host. We are here today with episode 61 to discuss NBA MVPs. And when we discuss NBA MVPs, we will be talking about season MVPs, finals MVPs, and players who have amassed the season and the finals MVP in the same season. Has that happened a lot? Let's find out. But it's definitely happened. It's definitely something that we're here to cover. So, with that being said, welcome to If Numbers Could Talk, episode 61. Let's get right on into it, guys. So we first must begin by talking about the MVP over time, starting with names of the NBA MVP. The NBA Season MVP Award was originally dubbed or named the Podoloff Award, which is now changed. The Podoloff Award is now the award for the team with the best winning record in the NBA per season. The Podoloff Award was named after I do not have his first name. I don't. That's crazy. Um, but Podoloff, he was the first NBA commissioner, to my knowledge. I believe that's who he was. It's the first NBA commissioner. So that name and that particular trophy isn't going anywhere. However, it is going to be changed to be the team that wins the season best record. However, the MVP does still exist. The MVP is now going to be called the Michael Jordan Trophy in honor of Michael Jordan and his, dare I say it now? Yes, I'll say it now. His five MVPs. I'm going to give that one up now only because of the name change. The finals MVP has been and currently still is named the Bill Russell Trophy. So, the Bill Russell Award is still there as the finals MVP, and the Michael Jordan Award is now going to be the season MVP. Now, with that being said, the MVP has been around since the 1955-56 season. The first person to win an NBA MVP, per my research, not an ABA MVP, but an NBA MVP, was Bob Pettit in the 1955-1956 season. Now, yes, there are ABA MVPs. Yes, there are uh, NBA MVPs during those same years. It kind of, there's some numbers there to prove, period. And it wasn't called the NBA. Uh, you know what? We're just going to leave. I think it was called the Basketball Association, I believe. So I say all of that only to give a little bit of a preface. So once again, the first person to win a season MVP was Bob Pettit in 1956. That award at that time was called the Podoloff Award. It is now called the Michael Jordan Award. And the first person to win a finals MVP was in 1968-1969 season, and that was one Jerry West. The finals MVP trophy is called the Bill Russell Trophy. So, and all together, to date, and we're coming up on the next MVP. We should be getting an MVP announcement soon. The race for the MVP is very close. However, we are less than a week, I want to say, or exactly a week from playoffs beginning in the NBA. I'd say about 5 days from the NBA playoffs beginning, which means we're very close to getting that final thought, that final verdict, and everybody's going to put in their votes and decide who is the NBA MVP. And the race is pretty tight, or at least it's been very tight, pretty tight for the most of this season. Here we are now running to the end. I might have to do an episode about some flip flops and some changes. Some of the betting numbers have changed. Some of the things that these players did towards the end of the season when they were trying to prove and or preserve their spot in the MVP race. Those things are worth mentioning. However, we will not be discussing them in depth in this episode. I know the top three runners, and they've been the top three runners, I believe, for about the last 3 or 4 years, are the back-to-back MVP, who is one of the front runners, Nikola Jokic. The runner-up, I want to say the last 2 seasons, Joel Embiid, and a guy who already has MVPs. However, he's not done. All right, let's just say that he is not done, and that is one Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not sure if I said that properly, but I did my best, and I hope that I did not butcher it too bad. Giannis actually has two uh, MVPs as well as Jokic. Um, it is plausible and highly possible that he'll end up getting another one. But again, we're not going to go in depth on this year's 2023 is the year. We're not going to go in depth on the current MVPs as of yet. That can get an entire episode of its own. But let's go through some history. There have been to date, by number, 42 season MVPs altogether. 25 of those 42 players have only one MVP. Let me say that again. 25 of 42 players have only one NBA season MVP. That is, in my opinion, something to be aware, right? Something to know it's real, something to know it's out there. Um, I actually thought the number would be higher for players with single MVPs. That means of that 25, 17 have more than one. So in the one category, people that only have a single MVP. Let's go with someone who shocked me. Actually, most of the people on the single MVP list made me like, dang, they only got one. But I only gave you a few names. A few of those names are people such as Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, Bob Cousy, Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook, David Robinson, and Derrick Rose. There are some names left on that list that I did not name, but those gentlemen have one current MVP only. And I want to say there's no one on the one MVP list that is currently still active. Everyone's still active with an MVP. Oh, I'm sorry, except for Derrick Rose. That's rude. However, the majority of the players that are still active by my count, and I could have missed a few, I apologize if I did, they have more than one MVP already. So let's go to the two MVP list. The two MVP list starts, or excuse me, I'll give, there are 8 players throughout history who only have two MVPs. Of those 8 players, a couple of those names are guys like Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, Giannis, Jokic, and Curry. Giannis, Jokic, and Curry are all current active players. They all have two MVPs, and I want to say they all went back to back as well. 4 players have 3 MVPs. Those 4 players altogether are Magic Johnson. Irvin Magic Johnson only has 3, has 3 MVPs. Dr. Julius Irving has 3 season MVPs. Larry Bird has 3 season MVPs. And Moses Malone has 3 season MVPs. Only 2 players in NBA history have 4. Only 2 players in NBA history have 4 NBA season MVPs. One is Wilt Chamberlain, and the other is LeBron James. The only current player above 2 MVPs is LeBron James. Also, I think LeBron has not won an MVP for nearly a decade at this point. I think around 2013, I think was his last one. Doing that off the top of my head, I didn't even look that one up. I just thought about it in the moment. There are 2 players throughout history, 2 men in their time did the work and they were able to amass 5 NBA MVPs. Those gentlemen are one I gave you earlier. They named the NBA MVP trophy after him now. Michael Jordan has 5 NBA MVPs. And Bill Russell, that's right, the guy with more rings than you can count. Bill Russell has 5 NBA MVPs. Now, there's only one person above 5 There's only one person who did more than Bill Russell and Jordan when it came to season MVPs. I'm not worried about how you feel about eras and the discussion you want to have. The numbers are the numbers. The only player to ever have 6 season MVPs is one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The only player to have 6 season MVPs is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's right. 6. I don't. That's kind of crazy that nobody else has even gotten close. A lot of the people who I think some of us would have expected to have 2 or 3 only have 1. So for Kareem to get 6, now I'm sure the voting might have been different and how they went about it. I'm sure there were much less votes as well way back then. However, he was able to amass 6 in the time. No matter what the voting system was, how many votes there were, he convinced the committee somehow, some way to put him in line for 6 NBA season MVPs. Now, seems like we got through the season MVPs pretty fast, you would probably think, right? Well, I don't think we got through it too fast because remember, we have 3 sections this evening for this episode. We have season MVPs, finals MVPs, and those players who have achieved both in the same season. So let's get to the finals MVPs. The finals MVPs, there were 33. Haha, I almost missed the number. 33 finals MVPs in total. The first, again, was in 1968-1969 season, the one Jerry West. There have been 33 finals MVPs, and 21 of those 33 have only one finals MVP. Some of those 21 gentlemen will be names like Dwayne Wade, Bill Walton, James Worthy, Dirk Nowitzki, Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala. If you understand, you understand. Wilt Chamberlain, and another name I'm going to give you, Antetokounmpo. Why am I giving you the Greek Freak? Because he and Curry are the only active players that I saw on the list. Yes, because I believe Andre Iguodala retired. They're the only active players I saw on the list that currently have finals MVPs, which is weird to me because I'm like, I had to look at that incorrectly. I had to. Oh, wait, I did. They have one, and there are other players on the list. So I wrote this note saying that these were the only 2. And I'm like, no, that can't be true. And it's not true. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not saying all of the names that have one. Those 2 gentlemen are active. I made sure to add them because I thought they would be interesting names for people to be like, oh, dang, they only have one finals MVP right now. Yes. Which I want to say this. I was surprised to find out Steph Curry only had one finals MVP. And then I remembered he never had a finals MVP until last year when they won. Stat that actually blew my mind last year when I heard. I was like, wait, how did I not know that? But here we are. Now I know that. Now you know that. There are 7 players, 7 who have 2 finals MVPs. 7 guys have 2. Those guys, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Hakeem Olajuwon, Willis Reed, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So on the 2 or more finals MVP list, you have 2 more active players right there, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. Again, yes, I made a mistake on my very first when I took the notes. But as far as finals MVPs go, there's always going to have to be a couple of active players with finals MVPs because finals are still being won in real time. For instance, there will be another person added to the MVP list in a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. There will be another person added to the finals MVP list in the next few months, maybe about 2 or 3. So this list is going to forever grow. It's always going to be changing. It's always going to be adding to, and we're just going to keep having to find out who's next. 3 players of those 33, 3 have 3 finals MVPs. Now, Tim Duncan has 3 finals MVPs. Irving Magic Johnson has 3 finals MVPs. And Shaquille O'Neal, who I believe is the only person to do it in 3 consecutive years, has 3 finals MVPs. One is a co-MVP, to be clear. So Shaq has 2 finals MVPs and 1 co-MVP, and Kobe has 1 co-MVP and for the finals. I'm sorry. 1 co-MVP and 1 regular finals MVP for Kobe Bryant. One person, only one, has amassed 4 Finals MVPs. 4 Finals MVPs. And that is LeBron James. LeBron has 4 Finals MVPs. And there's only one person above him. You guys already know who this is. Say it with me. Say it out loud. Scream it from the mountaintop. Say it loud so the people in the back can hear it, because everybody knows this. It's the arguing point for most discussions when it comes to the greatest of all time. Now, does that matter who it is today in this episode and what we're talking about? No, it doesn't matter who your greatest is. It doesn't matter who my greatest is. That's not what we're discussing now. LeBron has 4 Finals MVPs. One person has 6. Michael Jordan is that one person. Michael Jordan has 6 Finals MVPs, which means every time he went, because we all know he went 6 times, he has 6 rings. He won the Finals MVP every time. Not Scotty, not Steve, not BJ Armstrong or Brian Shaw. And I'm not knocking anybody by saying, oh, they don't have them. But it's one of the reasons that people go, man, that's a crazy thing to accomplish. And I agree, that's pretty crazy. So Michael Jordan has 6 Finals MVPs. Not one time did he go, was he not the best player on his team. Doesn't mean he was the best player on the court, but that's another discussion that we can have another day. But what does that not mean? Also, I believe in the past, and I mean in the past, like maybe in the 60s, 70s, that there was at least 1 or 2 players who won Finals MVP and their team lost. That's an interesting stat. Might get its own episode. So, we've gotten through sections 1 and 2. Who were your season MVPs and who were your finals MVPs from inception of those awards? But here we are now at the most interesting, intriguing, complex part of all of this, finding out who was able to accomplish the season and the finals MVP in the same year. Not everybody can do it. Sometimes you find out that it's impossible, right? But here we go. Let's get into some finals and season MVPs. Well, really quick, we have a comment here. Make sure I throw that up. Hey, what's up, Nick? Nick's tapping in. Appreciate you, brother. MJ versus the Monstars. Yeah. With 6 rings, MJ would still have one up on the Monstars because you can only put 5 players on the court at a time. But with 6 rings, I mean, he gets a lot of the extra, I guess, right? At that point. So, yeah, it doesn't really. Man, look, I'm just gonna leave it at what Nick said. MJ versus the Monstars. Like, yeah, you've seen it. We know what's going on in the first Space Jam. We understand how he got there. Thanks a lot for tapping in, Nick. I appreciate you, brother. So, for the players to win MVP and Finals MVP, we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15! There has been 15 seasons in NBA history where someone won season and finals MVP. And the first one is all the way back in 1970. Now, 1970 is only the second season that we had the finals MVP. So as soon as this award became available, guys were like, hold on, wait, I can get both awards? Let me do that. So the very first person to achieve this feat of winning the season and the finals MVP happened in 1970. The player played for the New York Knicks. His name, Willis Reed. Willis Reed is the first person to achieve the accomplishment of winning the season and the finals MVP. I'm not sure why there's not a name for this accomplishment. We should probably create one here on this channel. Maybe. But I don't know why there's not a name for this. Like, maybe they should be called King of the NBA for that season or something. I don't know. But Willis Reed was the first person to do it in 1970. In 1971, the year right after, the Milwaukee Bucks had a guy. They had a guy who was like, hey, wait, if Willis did it, I could do it. That man's name was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem in 1971 was able to win the season and finals MVP. The next time it happened, 1983, Philadelphia 76ers player Moses Malone was able to amass that. The next season, and not the season after that, but 2 seasons later, there was another gentleman in 1984 and 1986. He played for the Boston Celtics, and he was able to do the same thing. That man's name, Larry Bird. Larry Bird was able to win the season and finals MVP in 2 seasons. Not 2 consecutive seasons, but 2 seasons in total. Magic Johnson won it the following year. After 86, 87 rolled around. the Lakers Magic Johnson won the same 2 awards in the same season. Now, you take a hiatus and there was 2 different people for the next few years. And then you get to 1991, the 1991 season. Michael Jordan was able to do the same thing. He won the season and the finals MVP. However, he not only did it in 91, Michael Jordan is the only player to do it 4 times. There are 4 separate times where Michael Jordan won the season and the finals MVP. Larry Bird did it twice, but Michael did it 4 times. In the 1991 season, the 91-92 season. Then you come back in the 1996 season, Michael Jordan won season MVP and finals MVP. And once again, in the 1998 season, Michael Jordan won the exact same thing. That's crazy. That's crazy. However, in the middle of Michael doing what he was doing, there was that 1994 season when Michael was over in the MLB. In that season, Hakeem Olajuwon was able to get the exact same credit and win the season and finals MVP. So from 98 to 2000, that's only a 2-season gap. And the 90, actually it's a 1-season gap because it's only 98, 99, it didn't happen. From the 99 2000 season, there's a Los Angeles Laker. Back to the Los Angeles Lakers. The last Laker to do it was Magic Johnson. But there's a Los Angeles Laker named Shaquille O'Neal in 2000. And Shaquille was able to do the exact same thing as all of the other gentlemen that I've named so far on this list. He was able to get the season and finals MVP back to back before the season could end. Tim Duncan in 2003 played for the San Antonio Spurs, and he too was able to win both of these awards. And the last noted player to be able to make this achievement, win the season and finals MVP in the exact same season, did it back to back. Did it in the 2011, 2012, and 2012, 2013 seasons for the Miami Heat. That man was LeBron James. So LeBron James is the last person to get the season and finals MVP. And I believe that there's a chance it can be happening again soon, depending on how the league shakes, rattles, and rolls. I mean, hey, if you're watching if you're watching the NBA today and you watch these games, you see these guys play. The top players, it's like every night somebody can go for 50 to 70 points. I think with that being the case, you have guys who are dedicated to getting triple doubles every night just because that's how their game is set up. Like guys that'll go 15, 10, and 10 just so they made sure they got that triple double. You have guys who are just going to give you 60 and 70, just going to give you the bucket and make sure their team gets the W. These guys are the kind of people who end up winning these awards. And those guys who are able to play at a certain level during the season and turn on a different level during the finals are the guys who typically win both awards. Now, nobody does it every season, but I think it is so awesome to be able to watch a game where, and yes, it is a game, but to watch a game where someone can be so involved in their team's success that they are given awards that says that they are the most valuable player to their program. That is worth noting. That is worth talking about. And by all means, let's give every single person on this list, even the guys I didn't name, let's give them their flowers. It's because they accomplished something that most people only wish, and I really mean only wish, they had accomplished in certain periods of time. I appreciate you guys. There's so much going on out here. I have to say thank you guys for tuning in to my show. Thank you guys for tuning in to all of our shows. Why? Because here with our media group, what we do is we just want you guys to enjoy. We want you guys to tap in, get some new shows under your belt, get some new interesting things you want to share with your friends, some information that you can pass along to everybody else. That is absolutely why we do what we do. We enjoy what we do. And because we enjoy it so much, it makes it funner, easier, simpler to not only give you new shows, fresh shows, but to continuously have a schedule that's going to give you time and time again what it is you're looking for when you think of your podcast home. With that being said, by all means, Monday is the only day we do not shoot a show right now. We give you guys that day to take a break from our lives, readjust, spend some time with your family. But don't forget, and please know, you can also spend time with your family listening to our pods. Most of our shows, we try to keep pretty friendly. We try to keep pretty across the board so that no one, so you don't have to per se hide them, right? If you want to sit with your headphones on and listen to one of our shows at work, we try to give you something that's in that vein. However, we're not going to recommend you put us on the loudspeaker just because, you never know what's going to drop. Might be some information that somebody didn't want to know. Or, hey, we have like movie shows and things like that. We might drop a spoiler that your coworker didn't want to hear. However, with me giving that preface and that disclaimer for you, let me give you some shows you want to go ahead and check out. Now, remember, all of these shows will be available for you on YouTube and Facebook for archives. You'll be able to check out Rumble, Spotify, Verbal, Twitch. And we have a lot of shows out here a lot of episodes on all of these different shows, and we're going to continue to add to them. So on Tuesday, first you're going to head, over here to If Numbers Could Talk. This is an impromptu episode I wanted to give you guys because I was so excited to do it. But on Tuesdays, you'll get regular episodes of If Numbers Could Talk at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays and Sundays, you'll be able to check out the Screen Time Continuum. The Screen Time Continuum comes on at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, check out over on Twitch, King_of_Ilion, where Big Mike will be giving you some games. And check out Strawberries and Coffee, where Dijon will also be giving you games out of his archive and some new things as well. On Fridays, hop on over to the ExoFathom at 8 p.m. They're always going to be there giving you new, fresh content, things that I'm sure you and your friends are like, hey, wait, we wanted to deep dive on this, but they did the work for us. And they always do very good work. Check that out. Over on Saturdays, that's right, Saturdays, you're going to be able to check out This Married Moment. This Married Moment comes on about 12 noon on Saturdays. And it's just something for you to talk about. Maybe if you're wanting to go and have a discussion with somebody about what this one married couple said. Hey, we have that married couple right there for you on Saturday mornings. Check us out, This Married Moment. And again, on Sundays, you can roll all the way back around to the Screen Time Continuum. That's where you can end and begin your week. Screen Time Continuum available for you on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. By all means, thank you guys. Thanks a lot, Nick, for hopping in. And yes, MJ versus the Monstars. MJ over the Monstars. Six finals MVPs. Make that make sense, right? Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. I saw a lot of people coming in, checking out what was going on over here today. Thank you guys for popping in. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for liking. And if nothing else, thank you guys for thinking about our channels. For If Numbers Could Talk, my name is Keelan. I appreciate you guys. Have a great one. Oh man, I say have a great one in my what do we call this here? My backdrop was taking a minute. It's like slow loading. There it goes. And I'm like, oh hey, have a minute, guys. Thanks you guys. Oh, thanks for hanging out. But yeah, no, by all means, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll catch you next time.